Welcome to 360 Strong Women. Today we're going back to basics. So what we know is we need to move every day for 20 minutes. Movement matters. We also need to move aerobically, anaerobically. We need to stretch, we need to work flexibility, and we need to lift. We also need to do 5 movements, the 5 movements that our body can do. Then we work planes of motion. But today we're just working on those 5 movements. And I'm going to give you some exercises to make sure that you can incorporate them into your workouts so that you know you're working those 5 movements. The first movement is sagittal position, and that's just we can sit. So we're going to do a series of squats. The second move is we need to be able to walk. Lunges. So we can walk. The next one we need to be able to do, squat down, get some weights, is we need to be able to push. So like a push-up or a press. We need to be able to do that. The fourth one we need to be able to do is a pull. Rows, upright rows. Curls. So we need to be able to squat or sit. Also one-legged hinges like deadlifts. We need to be able to walk. Lunges. We need to be able to push and pull. And then that last one, number 5, we need to be able to rotate. That's moving those obliques. Literally, if I did not have my obliques, my front and back pockets, I would have to turn my body all the way around to look at something. Thankfully, we have those nice obliques so that we can rotate our body, look behind us, look to the other side, and be able to twist and rinse out transverse movement of the spine. So we need to be able to rotate. That's why we have to keep what? A healthy spine, healthy back, strong core, and again, so that we can be able to move in life, move in motion. And so the 5th movement is rotation. And that would look like a twist, a crunch, anything we're using around this band. So it could look like, if I put 2 together, could be a lunge and a rotation, right? So I'm doing walking, I'm doing that lunge, and I'm rotating. So I'm putting 2 movements together, and then we can add sequences. We're not going to get really deep involved in that, but I want to go over those 5 movements, give you some options. Some of them we're going to use weights, some of them not, just so that you know, oh, I'm incorporating all the movements into my workout. The first thing I want to do is make sure you've got comfortable shoes, a mat, some water, some dumbbells. We're going to be using them now. If you aren't lifting yet, right, you can just use your body to make sure we're working those muscle groups. We're just not adding weight to it. So you could be there. I'm not with you. I don't know what your story or your background is. I just want to give you proper alignment. If you've been lifting with me, pick up those heavy weights. We're not going to be doing a ton. This is more educational than it is a workout. And then later, you could say, oh, I'm already doing that. Just pick a workout that either works your push-pull movements or your rotation, walking movements, or your squats and your lunges together, legs, do a whole leg thing, and put that together. And if you hit our button, like, subscribe, and share, there are workouts in there that I've incorporated already for you that make sure that you're getting all those movements in. All right, so I want to what? Warm up my body. Movement matters, and I want to get oxygen into the body. Notice that I'm not moving my head below my heart. I'm keeping an apple under my chin, keeping my neck in neutral position, and then I'm going to mimic some of the things we're going to do. And that gets my brain ready to say, hey, this is what we're doing. All right. So I'm doing some push-pull movements. I'm going to do some squats, but let me go ahead and bring my knees up to my chest first. Just open up those glutes, and then you can squat down. You might want to move side to side because we're going to be working that way. And then I might want to take a lunge back. Notice not doing anything with my neck. Might want to take a lunge forward, working forward, quad dominance here. Taking it back, glutes and hamstrings. So even moving in those walking movements works around the muscles, works different muscle groups. Side lunge, AD abduction, might be like a jumping jack. So you're working side of the hip, inside of the hip. And what? Rows, push, pull, mimicking what? A push-up. And there we go. And then you might want to rotate those arms out. I'm going to be working them a little bit. Roll the shoulders back. Take a big breath up. Exhale that away. We want our warm-up to be dynamic, so you're moving through. Want to mimic what you're doing so that your brain and your body are connected and they're working together. And then opening up that vascular system. Go 3 to 5 minutes for a nice warm-up, a nice dynamic moving warm-up. And then we get started. You cool down at the end. You're going to want to hold those statically so that you can really stretch those muscles out because they become long and lean when they're warm. Once you cool down, they're short and hard again. So make sure you stretch so that you can add that flexibility in with your movement because movement matters. All right, so the first thing I want to do is work on that first movement, which is a sagittal position, which just in layman's term means you're just going to squat. Now you can, if you're not using weights, you can put your hands across your chest this way. Keep that apple under your chin. You're not taking your head out here in kyphosis. Tap that head over your shoulders, and then you're going to squat down. Your knees are going to stay behind your toes, and your knees and your glutes are going to be parallel, and then hip width. So we squat down. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Ground down at the feet, right? Feet are stable, ankles move. Knees are stable, hips move, low back is stable, thoracic is your mover, neck is always stable. Not moving my neck around. Now, if all you do is squats in this plane of motion, you're going to become very quad dominant. So we want to move in other planes of motion so that you work around the legs so you're more balanced. So if you're just feeling your squat, just feeling it here in your quad dominant. You want to feel this in your quads and around the hip joint and in your glutes. Bring them to the party, squeeze them so that you can balance that out a little bit more. So it's not just about hanging out in a squat. Hang out in a squat with perfect form and then feel around that body. Where am I feeling? What am I squeezing? How am I breathing? That all matters. So squat is one. Then we're going to go side to side squats. So we'll be moving laterally. Side, take that wide, bring it in. Inhale, push, exhale. Now I'm going right, left sides. So I'm starting to work AD abduction. Inner, outer thighs, front of the quads. Glutes and hamstrings, getting all around those muscles. Now, what I do want to say is that should feel really good. You should feel burning in your legs, in your glutes. You should not be feeling pain in your low back. If you have a low back issue, if you feel pain in your low back, We want to stretch that out and strengthen that first before you go really deep into your deep squat, right? So it could be a little less with a chair, or you can practice this way. If you're just starting out and you have low back issues, get a chair. You're not leaning back into it. You're sitting straight up like you're getting ready to do chair yoga. You're going to come up, exhale, inhale. Now, you may not sit all the way down, right? And you're working your squat from here. Or you could sit down into it, exhale, come up. Still working those leg muscles, still working that movement, but perhaps you need a little bit more stability for your back. Then, so we've got squats, side to sides. Then I'm going to work your ski squat. Now, ski squat, we're taking the center of gravity that's been hip width or wider, side to side, going a little wider, right? Opening up that center of gravity. In that center of gravity narrow. If you are 5'4" and below, you're tight on your tight line. You're not tandem standing, but you're right next to, right? You've made your center of gravity very narrow. Then what I want to do is not push my knees over my toes. I see this a lot. That's not it. Stick your booty back and then squat. Squeeze your legs together. If you are taller than 5'4", you need a little bit of space for your hips. It's just because of your height. So narrower than hip width, but a little bit of space for your hips so that your knees don't shoot over your toes. If they do, you're hurting your quad tendon. That's going to hurt your knee. Let's not do that. So it's a roll back, nice and tight, sit back, squeeze, exhale, inhale, squeeze, exhale, inhale, squeeze, exhale, inhale. Now you could be here. Really nice. So we have squat, side to side squat, ski squat, and then what I call kickstand squats, which is just scapation. You're working that squat at a diagonal with your legs, right? So it's like you're the bicycle, you've put your kickstand down, and now you're solid here. The leg that's in the front, your glute is going to come out to the side. And again, my toes are facing 12 o'clock. Now this back one might turn out a little bit, but it's not turned like a sumo. So you don't want to hurt your knee. So it can go a little bit out. That's just origination where it goes on the muscle. Roll back, squat down, working around those glutes. And again, you can do this from a chair. If you have low back issues and going deep like this hurts your low back, it starts to ignite. We need to make the glutes stronger, also your QL stronger, a little bit around the core stronger, and all the way around those hips, a little bit stronger so your back doesn't hurt. Inhale, and then exhale, and then all I'm going to do is switch sides. Put my kickstand down on this side, roll my shoulders back. Leg that's in the front, booty comes out this side. Squat down, my knees are still behind my toes. My neck is still in a neutral position. I'm not doing anything with my neck, dropping it below my heart. Exhale as you push up, inhale, exhale, working around the legs. We don't want to stay in one position. So if you just constantly do squats this way, change it up. Move your legs in different patterns so that you can work around the hip joint for hip mobility, stability. Also working not just quads, but working glutes and hamstrings, abduction and adduction, right? So getting around those legs. So that is your first movement. And you can do all of those and still have that first movement going on. All right, the second movement, what we would just normally call, well, we have to walk. So what can we do? We can lunge. Now you can do walking lunges, or you can do lunges in different planes of motion. So I'm going to move my weights out of the way. So we can do lunges in different planes of motion. I can do a front lunge coming towards you, LL. Then I can come out to the corner, scapation, just like we did in that kickstand squat, LL. Then I can come to a side lunge, knee behind the toe, apple under the chin, LL. And then I can come back for my back lunge, LL. And what do I mean by LL? Here, I'm just going to drop this knee down so I can show you. This knee stacks over this ankle, I'm making an L. This knee to ankle, I'm making an L. So a lunge does not look like, see this a lot, this. That's not it. This is it. To work the leg, you have to dip that back leg down. That's the hard part because you have to have strong legs to do that. What can you do? You can use a chair to help you balance that and start working it. Also, you can find a focal point, something to stare at so you're not following energy around. So you can, again, pull your body tight. It's almost like ski squat where you're on a line. So I'm narrowing up my center of gravity. Now, what I will see a lot of tall people do is shorten their stance. And then this knee pulls over the toe. If you're tall, you need room. You need space to move out. I'm only 5 foot and I'm coming all the way out here so that my back knee doesn't tuck up under me, right? It's not here. I see that a lot, where this knee is almost hitting the back of the popliteal space of the other knee. All right, so that's what I mean by LL. We're going to work around that hip joint in the walking motion. Front lunge, corner lunge, side lunge, back lunge, front lunge, corner lunge, side lunge, back lunge, back to front. Now, you can use your arm to cue you. I do this all the time, especially when I'm working with new clients. I will cue them, and this arm helps them move their knee in this direction so that they torque their knee over their toe, and they're starting to what? Move the hip around, because this is what? Mobility of the hip, that ball and socket joint. So I'm going to roll my shoulders back, keep that apple under my chin, pull my abs in tight. Take that front lunge. I might do this, front lunge. Then I'm going to move to the corner, scapation, scapation. I'm not doing anything with my neck. Side lunge. Still not doing anything with my neck. And then I'll back lunge. And then up. Then I'll move front lunge. Corner lunge, scapation. Still LL, side lunge. And then back, moving back so I have space. And then repeat, front lunge, corner lunge, side lunge. You should feel that all the way around your hips. Back lunge, front lunge, corner lunge, side lunge, and back lunge. And up. And you can do 15, 15, 3 rounds. Your legs are going to feel that. So that is our second motion. So we have squats, we have lunges, and variations of that. Now we're going to do push exercises, and I'm going to grab a set of weights. You can do push-ups for your push exercise. I'm not going to get into push-ups today. What I want you to do is go into our playlist, hit our button like, subscribe, and share, and go into the push-up tutorial. There's a video on push-ups and planks. There's a video on prone exercises, which are mostly push. So you can learn how to do exercises, push-ups in variation or planks with proper form. That could be a whole video, and it is. So you've got that. But we can also push. So it could look like this. Lat press, shoulder press, bring it down, V press, bring it in, overhead tricep press, lat press, exhale, shoulder press, exhale, V press, exhale, inhale, overhead tricep press. So you're getting all those push movements. And then you've got tricep push-up, regular push-up, wide push-up, offset push-up, chest push-up. So you've got all those. Those are your push movements. And you can push in this plane as well. Chest press, right? If we were in a supine position and I was working chest flies, also a push movement. Now we want to get into our pull movements. And our pull movements are our curls and our rows and our upright row and deadlift row, something like that. Now deadlift row, I'm adding my hip hinge, my bend and lift, right, to my first position, right, flat back, and then row, that's my pull. Exhale, stand up. I'm still in that first movement. And I didn't do deadlifts because we did so many squats. Again, you can go into playlists and find tutorials so that you know how to do those movements, but it could be curls, corner curls, crossover curls, and then reverse curls, curls, corners, crossover, assisted curls, reverse curls. So all of your curls are a pull movement. Also rows, pull movement. Palm up, palm down, palm in, still a pull movement. Do all of those and work all the way into arms, upper body, and upper back. Flies, full flies, half flies, right? Upright row, pulling, perfect. And then you can do 15 reps, 3 rounds. And you've got sitting, walking, pushing, and pulling. So we've done 4 movements. And then the last one, remember I talked about that, obliques, rotation. Anytime I twist or move. And it would be functionally like I'm reaching for my seatbelt and putting it on in the car. That's rotation, right? Wood chop. That's rotation. Anytime I turn and look over my shoulder. Most twisting movements in yoga. But anytime you reach up and put down, you're rotating your body, right? If I were to, again, walk and then rotate, I'm doing that rotation movement. So it could be rotate here, move that spine, rotate here and here. And every time we kickbox, we're in rotation. That's why we're working those abs so much during that. All right, so we could do a standing rotating exercise, could be, right, a wood chop, or coming across the body. So all abs, right? You can think about taking something off a shelf and putting it down and then doing a seated. So now I'm doing rotation and seated movement, right? So I'm doing that first and fifth movement together. Or I can rotate and lift like I'm going to walk. I can walk and rotate. And you'll see those positions all the time. So we can stand and rotate. It's great standing exercise. We can also squeeze and rotate there. And then we can come down to the mat and we can do other rotation. Now you could use weights if you wanted, you don't have to, but it could be like obliques, right? Leaning in, rotation of the spine there, transverse movement, coming down, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now, I do see this a lot. That is rotation, but make it challenging for yourself. So you'll feel this, but it's a small rotation. Rotation. Put your elbows out there, tap. Make it more challenging for your body to get a little bit stronger. The other one, bicycles. And I think I've done a tutorial on bicycles because most people do them wrong. So this is what I see a lot. First of all, I see people throwing their neck here. Our neck needs to stay apple under the chin, neutral position. So all I'm doing is making a basket, externally rotating at the shoulder to keep my head safe, to keep my neck safe. And then I'm going to put one leg out and lift one leg up. Now, my hip and my knee are going to stay there. I'm not bringing it in here. This is what I say all the time. One, you're just torquing your neck, throwing your head, and you've already brought your knee all the way up here. It's out of contraction. You're not really getting a lot of work. It may look cool, but you're not doing the work. So do the work. Put your leg out here and lift your elbow towards your knee. Torque, right? Rotation. Then you can hold this and breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then switch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe. And then switch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you could singles. You could do it that way. You are slowing that way down, making your body work. First of all, you have to lift up and then do transverse movement. It's like a corkscrew coming through the spine. We're really working those obliques, those front back pockets. So you're working your abs really hard. The faster, the more out of control you are with that and bringing your knees out of contraction, you're wasting a lot of energy. You're doing a little bit of abs, but not as much as you could if you slowed it down and put your body in good form. I would consider get the form right first and then start to add the weight, the medicine ball, whatever you're using. And if you're using your medicine ball like this, right, get those elbows out there. Make it work for you. Your medicine ball's here. Make those elbows here instead of here. Right? Make it work. So when I pull it in tight here, that's why I rubbed it, right? I'm starting to feel that in my low back versus in my transverse abdominis. So it's pulling from the back. And I can hold myself up in both. That does not hurt me. Again, that's core, but that's not rotation, right? If you're rotating, slow and purposeful, good form, don't waste your energy. Don't waste a lot of time on just trying to beat yourself up. You're not working smart, right? Work smarter, not harder. Just going to wear yourself out and you're like, why isn't my core that strong? You want transverse abdominis strength. That's internal deep core muscles strong. They'll hold your body up and keep you really strong. That's also going to keep your back strong and your abs strong. versus just getting that rectus abdominis, your 8-pack, your 6-pack, whatever you're seeing there, right? After all this visceral, it's there. It's still there, but it's thin. You get that with nutrition, basically, right? You can't outrun your fork. Very deep core strength muscles that are going to make your body strong so you can live functionally and move forward versus just some thin outer abdominals is the better way to go. All right, so that is it. There are a lot of rotation exercises, a lot more push-pull, a lot more legs. Like you can get into sequencing and then work tools, meaning toys, BOSU, steps, all the kinds of stuff. So you can add it all together. What I wanted to do today was go over the 5 movements. That's the only 5 ways you can move your body. You can sit, you can walk, you can bend and lift, you can push, pull, and rotate. And the bend and lift and the sitting are a combined, that's what we call, sit and bend. That's all you can do with your body. So you can do those 5 movements and then get creative with it, with lifting weights, playing with tools, playing with balance. Yoga works all the 5 movements and the planes of motion. And so what do we want to do then with those 5 movements? We want to move in planes of motion. You want prone, you want supine, so you're on your back. So supine would be like a chest press, right? Prone would be a push-up. And then you could do, right, a plank with a row. You're still in a prone position. Then we have what? Right, left sides, side to side, coronal, and then we have that frontal position. And so you can work all those planes of motion with these 5 movements, and that's how you make movement matter. I hope that clears up a lot for people. They're not sure, like, what's my pull movement? What's my push movement? Like, I'm pushing and pulling. And think about like you're pushing a window open and you're pulling it shut. So you think about things like that. Functionally, we push and pull all day long because we lift things and carry them. We sit down, we get up. So we're always doing that. We bend over. I would say squat down to pick things up off the ground. You're going to keep your back healthier. The only time you should be bending over is when you're working out in the gym, you're being spotted, and you're doing deadlifts. That's when you bend. Otherwise, squat down to pick something up. It's safer for you, healthier for you, won't throw your back out. And rotation, right? We need to be able to rotate to put on our seat belt, rotate to get things off the shelf, rotate to pick things up that may not be, if we didn't rotate, I'd have to actually move my body around to pick something up when I squatted down for it. So that's why we have those movements and those planes of motion. Sometimes when you're bending over or squatting down, you may be more prone, or you may be lifting your body up out of bed in the morning, right? You may be getting up off the bed or getting out of a chair. That's your sitting movement. So you're always constantly moving. I would say consider, as you move functionally throughout the day and all the things you are doing, opening the car door, shutting the front door, opening the front door. It's push-pull, it's rotation, it's walking and sitting, and that's what your body does. I hope that you have a good day. Don't forget to incorporate all these movements into your workouts. I've done the work for you, so really all you have to do is hit a playlist and you're off and running. We don't want to do the same playlist every day. Please, please, please keep it varied because we want to move. We want to keep it varied and hydrate your body. Have a good day, and I'll see you for the next workout. Bye.